are. Hello, hello, and welcome. This is not going to be our last Night Rides of the year, hopefully, but it is a Night Rides. My name is Jax. What you see on your screen is what I'm working on. I am a fantasy writer, and this is Night Rides. If this is your first time here, I'm going to just go through this very quickly. Night Rides is very simple. If you're on Blue Sky, click on the link that you see in your post and that'll bring you right to our open chat. You can say whatever you'd like in open chat, so long as it doesn't violate TOS or do anything weird. And I will read those things aloud and respond to them, and that is the chill chats part. You hear the lo-fi beats, that is definitely not stolen music. And at 9 o'clock on the dot, we will begin our very first of 3 word sprints. So, if you've never done word sprint before, the idea is very simple. Traditionally, you will write for a certain period of time, and then at the end of that period of time, you stop, put down your pencils, take your hands off the keyboard, and talk about the progress that you made. Then you take a break, and then you start in. Well, you can start in again. Not everybody does. So that is one word sprint. For our sake, we like to do things a little bit chill and loose here. So if you're editing, it's however many words you've edited, you can use that. You don't even have to do anything writing related. I've had people who have done art. I've had people who've done laundry. I've had people who've taken a nap. Whatever you feel like you need to do it during that period. But those will start at 9 o'clock. And we go, our streams go for 3 rounds of that. So it's 3 rounds of word sprints with a little bit in between of me just chatting with you guys and talking and doing and just having fun. Now, if you're shy, I cannot blame you. I am very much an introvert as well. I do suffer from fun little bits of anxiety, so I hear you. That is also why I include an icebreaker. Tonight's icebreaker, usually these are little writing questions, but they sometimes aren't. Tonight's icebreaker is name your partners. Who's your Benjamin? For those of you who follow me consistently on Blue Sky and whatnot, you probably know Benjamin. Benjamin is my mascot. He is that plush bee that you have probably seen on your way in. He has been with me for a little bit over 6 months. His birthday is specifically at the end of May. Fun story. So, one of my friends, their birthday is at the end of May as well, and every year they want to do just like one thing, just randomly. And this year they decided to go to the American Natural History Museum. And I say this only because, number one, you can get your very own Benjamin there. If you don't want to deal with Amazon, you can go to the American Natural History Museum over here in New York City. That's, it's right next to Central Park, and it's a lot of fun, you get to see dinosaurs, you get to see the geological history of the planet Earth. There are exhibits on climate change. It's all really cool. But they also have a permanent invertebrate, an invertebrate exhibit. So you can go in and you can learn about bugs. I don't know if this is a permanent setup for the gift shop, but their gift shop, well, the last time I went, was bee themed, and we had just gotten done with the dinosaurs, which was really why we were at the museum in the first place. And we were kind of moseying around, and we were in it's sort of like this atrium. It's this super funky place. But you go there and you get to sit on these weird-looking steps. And across the way, I saw this gift shop. And I could see from there this display of bee plushes. Like right near the door. I was like, oh shit, I'm going to need to be held back. The funny thing is I was not a bee person before I went to this. I just really liked cute things with large eyes. And this entire display was a bunch of plushes with of cute things with large eyes. And I was like, oh fuck, I'm going to need to be like held back. But my friend who was with me at that time, duh. So my friend, well, my friends and I had just walked in and we were looking around, and I hold up one of the plushes, and I was like, this is $20. Convince me not to get a bee plush for $20. And this is not the same friend whose birthday it was, but she put her hand on my shoulder and she was like, are you going to be cuddling with it every single day? And here's the thing, I was also not a plush person before I got Benjamin, so I was sort of like, I mean, I'll get him. I'll get it. It'll make me happy because it's a cute thing. Needless to say, when we were walking back from the museum, I kind of fell in love with this little guy, and I was like, I'm gonna have to stick him on my desk because he makes me just so happy to look at. And then it just sort of turned into Benjamin is my pet because I'm not allowed to have an actual pet in this apartment. For those who don't know, a lot of apartments come with pet fees. I don't know if this is just like a Northeast thing or like a New York City thing or something like that, but like in order to keep a dog or a cat, you have to pay like $50 a month, no matter where you go here. So I cannot have a dog or a cat. So instead I have Benjamin. But honestly, I only bring this up because my other friends were like, so the Final Fantasy patch came out recently, right? So that's what I've been doing for the past couple of days, not gonna lie. That and housing lottery stuff. But my friends on Final Fantasy were like, yeah, we'll see you tomorrow and we'll do this again. And then they were talking about, oh wait, we have plans. I was like, that's cool. That's totally cool. I probably need to stream because I haven't done it in a while, and I said to Blue Sky that I would. And one of them said, you should do an entire stream about Benjamin. And I was like, okay, we're doing a stream, and I'm going to bring up Benjamin. So that is my Benjamin story. So, where I was going with this is that Benjamin does actually help me. Whenever there's this concept in computer engineering, so that I swear to God, there are points being made here, but we're going to do a little bit of a detour into some writing tips. There is a concept in computer engineering called it's called a rubber duck debugging. So what it is you take something that can't actually, well, you can actually have somebody who can respond to you back, but it works best if you aren't interrupted. So you take something that can't interrupt you. Traditionally it was a rubber duck, hence the term rubber duck debugging, and you explain your code to them as if you're explaining it to somebody who doesn't know how to code. And through that, you can actually walk through your problems. I do that with Benjamin. So now, before Benjamin, that's why a lot of my threads on Blue Sky are extremely long. That's also why I have a lot of Tumblr. I used to have a lot of Tumblr posts that were just very lengthy, and why my newsletter is ungodly, because in all of those instances I'd be like talking through problems that I'm having as if I'm explaining them to somebody, but I'm not actually expecting an answer. Now, don't get me wrong. Please, please, please respond to it. Please give me attention on Blue Sky. I always love attention. So, like, if I say something or I'm going off, it's okay to be like to walk in and be like, "Hey, I'm listening to you, and this sounds really rad," or I have some advice for you. That is totally cool. I've never been opposed to people like interrupting, but just know also that I'm not like asking people to respond. Like, I'm not. If you don't want to respond, then I'm totally okay with it, because like my primary goal is really just to talk to myself. Whenever I go off like that, there are posts where I'm very clearly asking a question, and that's what I'm doing. But anyway, the main thing is when I got Benjamin, he turned into my rubber duck. So I still do lengthy threads, especially when it comes to the heavier stuff, logistics, and things I kind of do low-key want a response, but will never ask for a response. But for plot things and things that I kind of can't talk to anybody about because they're spoilers, I now talk to Benjamin about. And it's actually a huge help, because the entire point of rubber duck debugging is that you're walking through all these problems, and you're actually vocalizing them too. So it's like, sort of like externalizing a problem, and it also works with psychology too. That's why I don't have a therapist right now. That and insurance. But yeah, absolutely. I have walked myself out of a lot of plot issues. Not all of them, because we'll get into that in just a second too. But like, for example, the ballad. I have talked about this on Blue Sky, where there is a ballad at the start of the book, at the start of the nameless song, that is supposed to tell you about the Martin family history, a little bit about the Dragon Wars, or what happened in the intervening years, and it also introduces you to the Martin family curse and Chanticleer, the god of serendipity, who is also the rooster of the Martin family patriarch. All these are very important concepts, so I needed to have the ballad in there. The only problem is I am not a songwriter. I don't even like to write poetry that rhymes. Like, I am super, super bad at it. And I was like, I am really, really dragging my heels on this, because it's not something I look forward to. And eventually, I said that to Benjamin, and I give Benjamin cute little voices. And Benjamin, for example, in this case, Benjamin was like, "Well, why don't you write the story as prose and then work it out as poetry?" And then I was like, "Holy shit, that's brilliant!" And that's exactly what I did. I smacked it out of the park in one evening. Is it the best song ever written? Hell fucking no. Like, it is the stupidest looking poem ever. Like, it doesn't even. The meter is probably non existent. After a while, I gave up on trying to fit it to any sort of tune. So, technically, there is no music to the ballad, which is probably also bad. But, it exists. There is a draft of it. And it's finally one piece that was missing from the previous draft. So now I don't have to guess about word count. So it's a huge load off of my mind. So things like that happen. Sometimes it's like, oh, hey, the scene isn't working, and then I would have Benjamin go, well, what is it that isn't working about it? Or, why don't you do this and then come back to it like this? And it's just a lot of fun, and it's, it helps a lot. But that having been said, I do have to admit that lately I have been dragging my heels, and that is something that Benjamin can't super duper help me with. I do use Benjamin to give myself confidence and just sort of like talk myself up. It's sort of like if I'm feeling bad about my work, then I'll have Benjamin go, everybody thinks of themselves as bad writers, or they think of themselves as too good. You can't actually judge your own quality. That's not on you, it's on your readers. But so long as you get it done, then that's the important thing. Or alternatively, write it for yourself. But that doesn't mean you don't ever have to release it. It just means you should find what makes you happy about it and then write it from that angle and edit for other people. Or something like, oh, you're a much better writer than you think you are. You just don't really see yourself as such because you give yourself a hard time and you don't know how to cut yourself a break. And it's so weird how much externalizing your thoughts works, but it does. And it's kind of funny because I didn't used to talk. When I started doing this, I was a little bit ashamed, but then because I'm a grown-ass adult and here I am talking to a doll like a child. But the more that I talk about it, the more it just feels kind of normal. Partly because a lot of people are super chill about Benjamin, among other things. Among the other eccentricities of my life. I say this only because I had recently gone out with friends and had a conversation about the dipshit ex, and once again, people were shocked that happened. I was like, yeah, that's just a thing that I've had to deal with, and the reaction to it's sort of like, oh yeah, I'm not overreacting to it, or I'm not dwelling on it too hard, and it's fine if I don't get over it because people are having this strong a reaction. It must have been really bad. But when it comes to Benjamin, at least, a lot of people are like, oh, Benjamin is so sweet. We want more pictures of Benjamin, or talk about Benjamin more because Benjamin is so cute, and I am delighted to talk about Benjamin a little bit more. And Benjamin is also likewise happy. Benjamin is right here in my lap and watching the stream as I'm doing the stream. Say hello, Benjamin. Benjamin is waving one of his little arms. But yeah, also, I do have to admit that it's also good that Benjamin did come into my life for a number of reasons. Not only is I wouldn't say my mental health is great because I am talking to a doll on the regular, but and I still do feel depressive episodes, but this past year has been the first full year since the breakup happened, and I feel like it's a lot easier to get myself out of bed when I have this cute little face right next to me, and Benjamin is not even alive. He wants for nothing. He doesn't need anything. But I still drag myself out of bed because that's what Benjamin would have wanted me to do if he were alive. So there's that. But also, I've been learning so many B facts, and it has given me a lot of joy this past year to do so. One thing that Benjamin has taught me, or having Benjamin has taught me, is to find joy in the small things. And the literally small things even. So I look at a bee and I feel this immense amount of joy, more so than in my previous animal hyperfixation, which was cats. I'd go out and take Benjamin with me, and I'd experience these places that I've been to as if I'm looking at them for the first time, or I actively seek out new experiences because I want to show them and share them with Benjamin, because it feels like I'm sharing it with somebody I care deeply about, or I don't know, it's a whole bunch of things. Or I'm looking for the small things, literally flowers and bees, and it gives me appreciation for where the flowers are and where the bees are. There's I'd be walking along the street and it would just be an ordinary street, and all of a sudden I'd see this honeybee just fly past, and I'd stop and I'd look and there would be flowers And I don't know, like, it's just, I think the main point is that there is joy in everything, and there is beauty everywhere, and it fills me with with this incredible hope to continue on. So it's been hard. My motivation to write is shot, and I constantly feel like I don't, I, I'm not sure if I'll ever finish this project, or that I'll ever write something that will be well loved by other people. But I also don't center my life around that. Um, I think that's also why I'm looking into distraction-free writing and finding devices that I can take with me on the go, because I want to go back out there and I want to experience life and cut ties with a device that puts me online a lot. Like, I love my friends online, don't get me wrong. Like, I love my FC. I love the people that I've met on Blue Sky, for sure. I even love folks in it who drop by in the channel and chat. There's not really anybody right here, so I hope to God that I actually hooked up the stream correctly, if not oops. But I also kind of feel like right now I'm getting mired down in details and just this constant voice that I'm not going to be able to finish this story and tell it in a way that will be enjoyable. And if I can divorce what I'm doing from any sort of expectation from a potential audience online and from all this talk, then it would be a lot better. And I can go back out into the world and experience it with Benjamin and write and find the things I love again. And honestly, I think that's also it. Like, I did feel love when I was with the ex, but it was more like the want to be with another person. It wasn't something that really lit me up. And in a lot of ways, it was very stressful as well. Not the entire concept of being with another person, but just our relationship looking back on it. I don't think we were right for each other at all. But now that I'm thinking about it, and now I'm thinking about Benjamin, I do feel these sparks of joy that I hadn't felt in a while. And it feels great, you know. It feels great to open up Instagram and see these posts of bees and feel just this incredible, overwhelming joy for these tiny little lives. Sorry that I'm kind of breaking up. It's just bees, but God, I love bees so much. And the entire idea of being able to go out into the world and share it with somebody who isn't even real, but is a thing, like finding some reason to go out there and experience life again. Ah, man, I don't know why I do this to myself on streams. Like, I get so emotional about shit. But, you know, it's a delight to be able to feel joy and to be able to feel excitement and love, even if it's for an inanimate object, you know? And I think that's just it, you know? That's all it is. It's been a long time since I was completely happy, and I kind of want to chase that feeling more. And I feel like the more that I pursue that feeling and explore it, the easier it will be to figure out what it is that drives me, basically, and what I want out of life. So, fingers crossed, you know? Anyway, that is my writing partner. That is Benjamin. Benjamin helps me out through all kinds of experiences, helps me out with writing. So Benjamin is a constant presence at my right elbow, looking over my computer screen. Left elbow for work. But otherwise, yeah. I've also been thinking, as I've mentioned, about taking a break from the internet. I don't know if I'll take a break from the entirety of the internet or just blue sky a bit, like just reconnecting with myself. And experiencing life and sitting down and muscling through a draft without the distraction of the internet and comparing myself to other people. Just finding the things I love about writing again. So, but it's a thought that I'm floating for next month anyway. In part because I have finally decided to use up a bunch of PTO, so I have spare days off. But I kind of want to make it a month-long challenge for the first month of the year to just sort of switch off, only log into the internet to, I don't know, play video games and audiobooks. But other than that, you know, I'm this close to buying that Alpha Smart, like this close, but we'll see. Anyway, it is 8:57, so we have about 3 minutes until our first sprint. If you have just walked in, feel free to say hello. Our chat is, of course, always open, so just type in the chat and I will read aloud and respond. If you haven't, you know, if you're watching on Blue Sky, considering hitting that link. If you are here with us, also, tell us what you're working on. In the meantime, I'm going to mute whatever keeps on pinging me at my side right here. There we go. Anyway, there we go. Oh, also, you'll notice that on your left-hand side with the banner, I have ticked up the box. We are now in draft 7 officially. Draft 6 was never finished, so it's more like draft 6.5 because I'm just like rewriting the beginning. But I'm doing it mostly because there's just something wrong with it and I cannot get past it. So like the previous draft one, the first chapter was 9,000 words. I split it and we're still cutting ideas and concepts. We're doing the rearranging thing, so hopefully we'll be able to distill the first few chapters down to under 9,000 words. And I know word count doesn't matter anymore because I'm going to self-publish, but I also cannot stop thinking about how the betas did not like how slow it started, or the draft 4 had started. So we're going to try this and see what happens. So that's what I'm working on tonight. But we'll see how far it gets. I'm already going to be rewriting what's on your screen, so fuck it. But for sure, if you're in the chat or if you're watching, drop in and tell us what you're writing. Otherwise, it is 9 o'clock on the dot, so therefore, I did promise that the first sprint will be starting, and nobody is stopping me. So, you know what to do if you've been here for a while. We're going to do a little quick breathing exercise to relax. Deep breath in through your nose. Slowly out through your mouth. One more time. And back out. Shake out those hands. Flex those fingers. 20 minutes are on the clock. I wish you all the best of luck. Get ready. Get set. Here we go. I just realized I've been on mute for this entire time. Oops. So you saw me do a little bit of writing over the timer. My original word count was only 461. Then, of course, you know, I don't like to leave things unfinished. So we're counting at 500. And what I'm doing right now is I actually, because I like the way that I start off chapter 2, I just went back and I deleted a little bit that had been retained from the previous draft. But all in all, it's sort of like one of the benefits of doing rewrites and edits. And I'm very well aware that it's a very dangerous thing to do that while you're still working on a draft. But the way that I see it is, if you cannot force yourself to sit down and continue onwards with a draft, there's something fundamentally wrong about that draft, and you need to address it. I've mentioned, or there was like a very brief discussion about that on Blue Sky, wherein one person had actually agreed with me, but that one person was also correct, because like, yeah, the going advice is never go back and edit, because you'll get trapped in cycles and then just never finish. But at the same time, if you build on, if a lot of writing is like building a house, if the foundation of what you're doing is cracked, then you can't continue building upwards. So, like, if you're trying to build a house and it's on either silt or the foundation's cracked, what have you, then you can't add other floors, right? So in the same sense, if you're working on a draft and everything feels wrong, then you have to stop and ask yourself, what is it that's making you feel that way? And you have to go back and you have to actually address that. Because otherwise, you are forcing yourself to go through a piece of art that you just have no passion in, and it will show in your writing. Because ultimately, all writing is art, and if there's not even a little bit of pride and joy in creating it, then it'll feel corporate. It'll be obviously you just wrote this just to get it done and just to put it out there and make money. It's sort of like how we don't like cash grab movies or cash grab video games. We don't like it whenever teams get worked to death on crunch time and the end product is just there because there has to be a certain... Yes, I'm fucking talking about Pokemon. I will fucking... like... Can I just rant about that for a second? Like, this is what's wrong with art. Like, when you work on deadlines where you have to kill yourself over 2 years in order to get a product done, and there's no real soul in that product because it's just this cookie cutter thing that has to exist because everybody expects it to exist, and you're going to have a shit fucking product. And that's why I do not play Pokemon games anymore. That and the fact that it's like $60 just for the game itself, and it's sort of like, I don't know, I remember being... Now, don't get me wrong, whenever the Pokemon games came out, you know, everything was cheaper. But I remember being 10 years old, or 9 years old, 10 years old, and saving up every single allowance that I had and buying a copy of Red for $30. And now all of a sudden, it's sort of like, it's $60, $70 now. And what are you getting? Like, granted, the first gen games weren't great either, but like, the mainline games, like Scarlet and Violet, Sword and Shield, everybody keeps on complaining about how samey they are, how filled with bugs they are, how uninteresting the storylines are. And, you know, I'd hate to say it, but yeah. Like, I wasn't super thrilled with Sword and Shield, and it's sort of like the thing is, like, I have only a finite amount of money. What do I want to spend it on? Like, do I want to spend it on a $70 game that's just going to be the same thing again and again, just with different critters? Or do I want to spend like $20 a month and go play Final Fantasy XIV, which actually has a storyline that 9 times out of 10 is super really good? Like, oh my god, this past patch, I fucking cried. Like, why do you keep doing this, Square Enix? You must fucking rip my heart out over cute hugs. Anyway, and oh my god, the just oh my god, like the new characters too. Like, I won't give in to spoilers, but there were so many parts where I laughed, I cried. I fucking love the new characters. I hope to God nothing bad happens to them, even though I'm pretty sure that they're all going to die. But, oh my god, like, it is so good. So fucking good. Even, like, the normal raid quest line, like, ended so good. And yeah, like, that storyline was a little bit underdeveloped, because it's only a brief quest line. But, like, oh my god, I am so happy that certain people exist. I will not tell you, but I will tell you that it involves cats. And he was the best character in the entire storyline, and I am so glad, you know, there's an ending to that story, and I cannot continue because there will be spoilers. But it's so good. It is so good. And the difference is, like, there's passion in that. Like, sure, they have a 2-year time frame as well, but number one, their team is larger, and number two, there's fucking passion in that. Like, you go and listen to any of Yoshi P's interviews, or read any of his articles where he talks about the game and where it's going, and you can see that he loves what he's doing. He loves his team, and he will do anything to make that game, what he's doing, good. But I don't know. By comparison, Game Freak is just sort of like, we're going to ship out another game in another couple of years, and you're going to buy it anyway because it's Pokemon. And it's sort of like, I'm just so done. I could not, like, between that and the shittiness of the fandom and the toxicity of the fandom there, I'm like, I would much rather just spend all of my money on Final Fantasy. But that is the main point that I'm trying to get. Like, when there's passion in what you're doing, and when you love what you're doing, it shows in the quality of your work. When you remove that spirit and you're just mass producing a concept just to make money, then you can tell. Like, don't get me wrong, people are still going to buy every single Pokemon game. I have had conversations with plenty of Pokemon fans who are like, this gen is just absolutely sucks up and down. Is like the death knell of the franchise, and I'd be like, you still bought it. Like, I don't mean to, like, vague about people who might be following me, but, like, yeah, that is an inevitable unshakable truth that people will still buy it either way. Yeah. But here's the other difference. When we're talking about video games, we're talking about teams. So they can do whatever they want. If they want to make a cash grab that people will still buy, like Pokemon, then they can continue to do that. Is it ethical? Probably not. Alternatively, they can work for the same amount of time and love what they do and just sort of like, I don't know how they manage to do it. Maybe it is just the fact that they're a larger and better funded team. But there's love and care and passion in what they do, and you can tell. And they can do that. But when we're talking about books, it's just fucking you. So if you fucking hate the storyline that you're writing, then it's not the consumer that you're punishing the way it is with Game Freak and whatever they're doing. It's you. Because you're the one who's going to have to sit there through draft after draft with a story that you're not passionate about. So that is why I say that if you're not immediately making money off of it, if there are no deadlines that you have to meet and nobody's expecting you to have this book out, then do whatever you want. Make the art that you actually feel proud of. Find the writing and the voice that fills you with joy and makes you want to come back to your document every single day. But the second that it becomes a chore to sit there and write, step away from it. And if it continues to be a fucking chore, then you need to directly ask yourself, what is it that's making it feel like that? And what can you do to make that feeling go away? And if the answer is, I need to nuke this and to just start again, or I need to go back to the earliest chapters and rewrite them, and then we'll keep some of the later stuff, but we're also not making any expectations, then fucking do that. Like, do whatever it takes for you, man. It is your art and your story, and there are no wrong answers to anything except for the usual don't be a weirdo and creep and racist and shit like that. Like, I'm just like remembering like way back when somebody had asked me, there is a right way and you do agree that there is a right way and a wrong way to write, and there is, but it's not what most people think. It's not you need to do this very narrow set of rules in order to be a successful writer. It's literally just don't be a fucking dick with your writing. Like, don't feed conspiracy theories. Don't intentionally trigger people. Don't be a bigoted fuckface through your writing. And everything else is just semantics. So it's sort of like, I guess it's kind of like the Torah. It's sort of like there are golden rules in Judaism, but beyond the golden rule, everything else is a debate. Literally the same thing. So that is, I guess that's your writing tip of the day. Like, I will always be like, if you feel like it needs to be rewritten, it probably does, and you should let yourself explore the possibility of doing it if you have no expectations or if nobody's expecting anything from you. This is not a very popular take in writing circles, but then again, I also don't really fit into writing circles, so whatever. Anyway, that is the more you know. Ding. Do, 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 do. I don't remember the NBC jingle anymore. It's been ages. But anyway, it is 9:37, so we can get started with the next sprint in just a few minutes. I'm going to let myself rest and relax, and maybe bump the post because I feel like there's nothing right now. Like, damn. I mean, I am getting some progress done. Like, all things considered, hell yeah to getting 500 words today. That is more than I've gotten done recently. Now the question is, am I enjoying it? And the answer is, that is a great fucking question. I don't know. we'll see. Still a bit early. I will still be thinking in the back of my head, you know, beta said this and beta said that. And I know it's terrible and indicative of me not being able to take criticism, but I don't know. Also, like, on the other hand, a lot of people are like, yeah, I got such good feedback. You know, I've been so encouraged by feedback, and I'd be like, mine ripped mine apart, and I think that's what's really got me. But I've had this discussion more than once, so y'all know, I think. Maybe. But I will get through this draft one way or another, or I will get through this book, and there will be eventually another round of betas, and we'll see where we go from there. But anyway, let me bump this post. There we go. Alright, 9:40. I might still consider resting a little bit longer. However, for the rest of you, 20 minutes are on the clock. If you're not at your docks, get back to your docks. Get ready, get set, and good luck. There we go. that is sprint number 2. Let's see, we're definitely a lot less. So 379, which is actually still not as bad. That is still getting up there, close to the last count, especially since I was a little bit distracted, so I can be forgiven. I like to imagine. But, you know, we're getting somewhere. And that is what is really important. Just, in general, pacing myself, finding a little bit of fun. It does feel a lot more fun than the previous chapter 1/2 that I was writing. This is still chapter 2 though, so hopefully, I don't know if I had said this in the not muted part of the last break, but this time around, you know, I'm hoping to write shorter chapters, which will be a little bit easier on the word count and the pacing. After chapter 2, we're going to do a time skip to Phelanvale. Then it'll be another chapter of getting to Phelan Woods, then Phelan Woods itself. So it really transforms in chapter 5/6, like the end of chapter 5, the beginning of chapter 6. That's not bad considering last round it was, draft 4, which was the one that all the betas were complaining about. It was over 25,000 words in, or actually over 30,000 words in, and chapter 7. So we're condensing things by a lot, hopefully. If I can keep the next few chapters short-ish, then we should be good. It's going to be a little bit tricky. There's going to be a lot of world building that I'll need to cover. But on the other hand, let's take a look. The prologue is only about 228 words. Chapter 1 is 2,312, so we're up to 2,500. And ignore this. That is box of scraps. There we go. I mean, I'll probably have to consult that later, but this is so far 800 words, and we're already halfway through the chapter. There's only one other thing that I need to do, and that is basically bringing Lord Albert, introduce him, and kind of establish the relationship between Lord Albert and the rest of the crew, and hopefully, you know, that's all I need to do. I doubt I'll actually finish this chapter tonight. But that is what Tomorrow Me is going to be doing. Or Weekend Me. I've been running around like crazy, and I think that might also be part of the reason why I just feel so blah about writing. I mean, there are a lot of reasons. Part of it is the fact that I'm comparing myself to others. Like, I'm watching others progress a lot further than I am, and I'm still working on a draft, and I haven't even gotten anything. I mean, I've gotten things close to publication, but like things wouldn't survive betas, and yet I'm still considering tossing this to beta readers. But it does kind of make me feel like I failed at something. And that is part of the reason why I really want to do this kind of like social media cleanse and just internet cleanse in general. Like, I am very close to ordering that Alpha Smart and just sort of like spending time away from a computer, but still having a keyboard to write with, and allowing myself to just break away and focus on writing and focus on enjoying the process and falling in love with the process again, and the story that I'm trying to create again. So there's that, but also I've been running around like crazy these past few weeks. If it's not one thing, it's another. Whether it's work, whether it's personal life. Like, I wanted to go to the holiday market last week, but then a whole bunch of stuff happened and I never got to go to the holiday market. So that is the main thing that I was trying to get at. Like, I'm going to take myself to the holiday market. Well, myself and Benjamin. and it's not the Bryant Park one. It is going to be. I'd really like to go elsewhere. Like, okay, so little tip of New York City. All right, right around this time of year, I'm talking end of Thanksgiving all the way through to the end of December. There are multiple holiday markets that pop up in New York City, and these are places where you have like small business owners, art. I wouldn't say artists exactly. Like they're not like just people that meet on Blue Sky or anything like these. They are small businesses with small crafted goods and stuff like that. It is pricey as fuck, but it's always fun to go and see and maybe find one or two items that you can give as gifts. And that's something that I'd like to do. But number one, I haven't had a chance. And number two, I'm very particular. I will tell you a little bit about each of the holiday markets. So the northernmost one is in Columbus Circle. That is right at the edge of Central Park. It is an extremely cramped market. It has like upscale-ish goods, so it's very fancy up there, and it is very interesting. But if you're claustrophobic, do not go to the Columbus Circle holiday market because they pack that place. There is little to no elbow room. Then going southward, the next one that you'll find is the Bryant Park holiday market. That is, its official name is the Bank of America Winter Village. I do not call that for obvious corporate reasons, but it's also the most tourist heavy because it's midtown. Like Bryant Park is attached to the main branch of the New York Public Library, so it's interesting to go there if you're a bookish person because like those are the stone lions. There's the New York Public Library itself. A lot of collections you'll actually need to permission to get into, but like it's history and it's a library and there's study rooms inside. It's really cool, and there's always like a exhibit going on in there as well that's free of charge, so like if you want some place to go. But the market though, oh, and also the market is very touristy because Bryant Park happens to also be located in the block that is smack dab in the middle between Times Square on to the west and Grand Central to the east. So it's fucking crowded with tourists. And a lot of people do not know how, whenever you get to the city, I don't know what it is, but a lot of tourists do not just lose their entire concept of walking and personal, like spatial awareness. So you'll have like people going into a market and the aisle between stalls might be 3 people wide or something like that, and they will fucking stop in huge clumps and just chat. And it's sort of like, can you do that literally anywhere else? Like, you have to keep moving so people can keep moving. But a lot of people don't understand this concept. So the Bryant Park one is actually my least favorite that I've actually been to. I say that because when you go a little bit further south on 34th Street in Herald Square, which is right in front of the flagship Macy's. So like if you've ever seen the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, you know how there's that one stage setting with like that's like painted green and it's got the Macy's Thanksgiving Day logo on it? That is directly in front of the doors to the flagship Macy's. There's a new-ish holiday market. I didn't realize that there was one there until fairly recently. It's small, and on top of that, Herald Square is one of those places that you don't go to during the holiday season because it's going to be super crowded. Because even without the market, there's still the iconic Macy's storefronts. So Macy's always, every single year, for God knows how many years, Macy's does window displays that are holiday themed, and there's always over the top and very festive. Sometimes they'll always have animatronics of some kind in there. Uh, and a lot of tourists like to go and just see these. It's the Macy's storefronts, and then they go up to 50th Street to Rockefeller Center to see the tree. So it's always going to be like a river of people in Herald Square, and there's a market there. I do not understand the logistics of this, but I would never go to this market because I know what it's like without the market. Um, so far we have Columbus Circle, which is claustrophobic, Bryant Park, which is touristy, and then the Herald Square, which is smack in front of an iconic Christmas display and therefore extremely crowded, which leaves my actual favorite, which is the Union Square Holiday Market, supposedly the oldest holiday market in New York City that's still running. And it's balanced. It's like a balance of not super crowded compared to Bryant Park. It's got a good selection of gifts, and on top of that, if you really want really good hot chocolate, Max Brenner's, which is it's an iconic New York establishment it just sells chocolate. Go there and get your hot chocolate. Usually they had like in previous years, like before the pandemic, they would have their own stall, but I haven't seen it in the past couple of rounds of holiday markets, so I'm not sure if they're still doing it. The point is, that's what I want to do this weekend. I don't know what the weather's going to be like, but I'm going to do it. I haven't really treated myself at all this month. I'm actually kind of like taking a quick look at the weather. Why are there thunderstorms in the middle of... Why is it going to be 56 degrees at 5 in the morning today? Fucking global warming. What is the weather going to be like? Okay. Saturday is a good day to do it. Saturday's going to be a little bit chilly, but Sunday is going to be gales again. It's been weird with weather lately. Like, there's been a lot of high wind days this winter, so it's been a little bit rough to go out there. Normally I wouldn't mind wind, but when it gets to be bitter cold, it's just sort of like, I don't want to do that. I'm sorry, but I just do not. So we'll see. And honestly, yeah, I just need to relax a little bit. Which is why I'm kind of looking forward to this holiday season. This Christmas, I'm not really planning on... I'm not going to visit family for the holidays themselves. I do have some time off in January, but it's later in January, so I'll probably arrange things then. But honestly, I love not traveling for holidays, like, and seeing family on other days, because to me, holidays just don't really mean anything. Like, they're not super special, or I prefer to celebrate them in my own way. So for me, Christmas is like, oh, okay, so I'm going to go and I'm going to spend most of the day vegetating and watching Christmas movies. I think Home Alone's on Hulu right now. And all I'm doing is making crepes and doing nothing. I'm going to curl up with Benjamin and sleep through most of the day. And that'll be my vacation, or my holiday anyway. And I am looking forward to it. Like, in my younger years, I would have been like, I want to travel, I want to do this, I want to do that. But it's sort of like, I don't know if it's like the pandemic or just like me getting older. But I'm okay with just sort of chilling out someplace. Uh, I do want to do vacations and see other things for January, though. I will eventually see my family later on in the month, as I said, but I also have this period where I just randomly have some days. I might take a day trip up north a little bit into New England and take whatever writing I can. But one thing that I've learned is I'm not the kind of person who likes to do everything all at once and have this exciting vacation. I will do it. I will visit museums and landmarks and chill whenever I'm in someplace new and interesting. But I would much rather do that at my own pace, like take it slowly and really enjoy the sights and sounds, not like be off to the next uh, bullet point in an itinerary, you know? So I guess that's why I don't really, think too much about spending time on holidays or with other people all that much, because I would much rather just do things my own way. Not having been said, I will fucking go top to bottom of an art museum and see literally every room and every exhibit before I can leave. So when I say I like to take landmarks at my own pace, I kind of do mean I will still wear myself down, but it will be just sort of like at least I am giving myself time to absorb, and I'm not like thinking about, oh, I need to also go see these 5 other museums or these 5 other landmarks today. It's like you take it a little bit at a time. But yeah, that is why I prefer traveling alone and doing things on my own, because like it's so much easier to enjoy these things when it's just you, you know? Like I've done the entire thing where I actually experienced Amsterdam that way, where I went with other people, and then it was just so stressful when I was actually with them, because I'd be like, or not I, but it's sort of like, oh, we're going here next, and we're going here next, and I'm like, I don't really know where we're going or what we're doing, but I'll follow you, I guess. And it's like we did the which one is it? Let me let me. Yes, the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam, and that is like basically the Met. Not that most of you would know what that is, but it is an art museum full of all of this Dutch culture. And I would have loved to be able to spend like hours upon hours, but it's just sort of like I was with people, so I would be like, okay, we're done with this room. Now we have to move on to this room, and it's like, I don't know. But towards the end of the trip, because of shenanigans, I wound up doing a lot of stuff on my own, and I wound up taking a look at the Jewish History Museum. I had booked for myself, and I was like, hey, if you want to come with, that's cool. I went on and saw the Anne Frank house. I did the Van Gogh Museum. And when I was at the Van Gogh Museum, I just went through and saw each exhibit in my own way and, at my own pace. And it was so much more enjoyable than having to check in on other people and, follow along with them and see and let myself get dragged around. Because, like, I got to learn a lot and experience a lot of culture. And those couple of days were super important to me, and I loved it very much. But anyway, that was a whole bunch of stuff. I think the main point is that this. Okay, so this weekend I am going to take myself and Benjamin to the Union Square Holiday Market. Finally experience the holidays in my own way. And then for the actual holidays, I have not really made solid plans. I would like to do the MoMA again and take Benjamin and go see exhibits. It might be a little bit touristy because it is a holiday, but I'm kind of also fingers crossing that a lot of people are going and staying with family instead of like going and seeing art exhibits. I'm not going on Christmas, obviously, but like it would be nice to just kind of like go and experience the MoMA and show Benjamin Starry Night and not have to worry about huge crowds, because that, you know, Starry Night is so important to me. So for sure, Benjamin needs to see it and gaze upon its beauty. And also, MoMA is also the best art museum in New York City, I have to admit. I mean, sure, the American Natural History Museum is also good because that's where Benjamin was from. But, you know, so those are my plans so far. I'd also like to do the Jewish tradition of ordering Chinese and going and seeing a movie, but whether or not that happens is a fantastic question. I'd probably have to actually be in the city itself in order to do that, and I'm not sure whether or not what the plans are for that. I don't know. Anyway, I will figure it out. I still have several days to figure it out. I have a week to figure it out. It is a week until Christmas, guys. I just realized that. That is so weird to think about. Anyway, it is currently 10:22. In a few minutes, we'll begin the last sprint of the night. So if you have been listening so far, hello. I hope you have learned a few things. I have taught you this week about rubber duck debugging, revisions, art, passion, and the best holiday markets in New York City and which ones to avoid. Say hello if you're here and talk about your projects. Otherwise, we will gear up for that last sprint in just a few minutes. Alright, it is 10:25. Get back to the docks if you aren't already there. 20 more minutes on the clock. Deep breath, cause get ready, get set. Last one of the day. Here we go. Alright, that is good enough. And our final sprint of the night. I know that I didn't get as much done because I might have gotten distracted, but let's see. Yeah, 304. I feel like I need to take a break. Oh, Tasha says, is this still going on? Thanks for doing this. Oh, no problem. And hello. Kind of, sort of. We've just ended the third and final sprint of the night, but it is cool to see you. Welcome. But yeah. So the final count for me at least is 1,183, which again is not great. Like, I used to be able to do well into the thousands. Like, I used to win Nano, which means that I used to do at least 1,600 a day. But but I don't know, like, I've been running myself ragged, so especially lately. So I'm going to be kind to myself and say that that is still 1,000 words, which is still pretty impressive considering my pace as of late. But I feel like if I give myself a little bit of a break, let myself rest up, we'll be able to get back into the swing of things. But Tasia Roland says, I was here for it. Thanks for hosting. Ah, no problem. We will be back on a regular schedule soon-ish. I've just realized that the regular schedule is not actually posted on my channel. That's my bad. I will get into that in just a second. Tasha Roland says, also, please let me know if I am mispronouncing your name. Tasha says, no worries, I was just doing editing. I hope you were able to get plenty of editing done. Feel free to post about your progress in the few minutes that we still have. I mean, I will continue running this for a little bit longer. You know how it is. For anybody who's been with this stream for a while, there's always going to be that little bit at the end where I talk about what to expect for the next week and whatnot. But on that note, feel free to talk while I'm figuring this out. It's Taisha, but it's okay. My mom made it up. It's all her fault. Oh, gotcha. I will remember that. Alternatively, just, smack me the next time I mispronounce it. But Taisha, got it. Let's see. On that note, so I've mentioned that the schedule on my profile is wrong. I will fix that as soon as I'm done streaming, I promise. But as of late, it's not actually Tuesdays. It's Wednesdays. It used to be Tuesdays until fairly recently. It just so happened that people wanted to start doing things on Tuesday, so I was like, fuck it, I'm flexible. So in terms of schedule, next week would also do a stream on Tuesday. I'll think about that for certain. Especially, I might even pull both my FC and Blue Sky. So if you're following me on Blue Sky, keep an eye out on that as well. As I've mentioned earlier in the stream, I'm not actually going to be around for Saturday. I'm also not going to be around tomorrow as well because I just need a moment to decompress from the week. It's been a crazy week. So I am just going to spend tomorrow and Saturday doing my own thing. Sunday, I might have a stream. I will be here, and people aren't usually doing anything on Sundays, so keep an eye out on Blue Sky. jackswolfwrites.bsky.social. That's where I will normally announce special streams and streams in general way before that they actually happen. Hit the bell to get notifications sent straight to your inbox every time that I post. I promise I don't abuse that often. But so there might be a stream on Sunday. There might also be a stream on Tuesday because Wednesday is Christmas Eve. As I've mentioned before, I don't do anything on Christmas and Christmas Eve, just because besides the fact that I'm Jewish, I don't take holidays too seriously. So there will very likely be a stream on Christmas Eve as well. I don't expect anybody to attend it, but it will be a thing that I will try to have happen. But keep an eye out also on the Tuesday before the 23rd, just in case I end up doing something then too. That will not be our last stream of the year, because we will also have the week after. Now, New Year's Eve is something that I do take seriously. I do try to spend it with at least streaming with friends. So if anybody in the FC is doing anything, we'll probably do that. If not, I will probably be here too. We'll see. So that's a heads up for that. Other than that, let's see. You can also hit the bell on my YouTube account, but that will only notify you of when streams actually start. So if you're here more often on YouTube and you pay attention, that is something that you can do. Otherwise, for sure, check me out on Blue Sky. Tasha says, I will keep that in mind. I might be here then, Christmas Eve. I did hit the bell. Excellent. Absolutely. I would be more than happy to help you continue to edit. I love doing these. It is good to be back and in the groove of it, doing things. And I also don't want this to be the last stream of the year. So, for sure, just keep an eye on Blue Sky. Anyway, I keep on repeating myself. I feel like that's about it. I'm going to spend the rest of this evening just sort of vegging out and doing God knows what, maybe even doing more words. We're going to just sort of play it by ear and see what happens. But in the meantime, I will very likely see you the week of Christmas. And if I don't see you, I hope you take care of yourselves, have excellent holidays. If you're traveling, stay safe. If you're going to be with family, also stay safe. In all seriousness, I hope that it's a very relaxing one for you. I hope you, but if you're not really doing anything, I hope to see you next week as well. I will be here, and I will be mushy and nostalgic and very gushing about positive stuff. Taisha says, thanks again for hosting. Probably see you over at Blue Sky. Take care too. Yes. But yes, hell yeah, just hit me up whenever you want to chat. Anyway, that is it for us tonight. So, take care. And I will hopefully see you next week. Good night, everybody.